Ableton stock can do it all, actually.
Yes. Yeah, I'm a pretty stock purist. I use Ableton stock and the Fab Filter series almost exclusively, and then Serum.
I started getting to Fab Filter a little bit more. Fab Filter Q3 was a game changer.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love that the threshold that you can like
Dynamically change.
Hell yeah.
That's
instead of just
insane.
cutting like the overall volume down, you're able to just apply like the threshold of the frequencies and really it's almost like it compresses it in a way so that you can like.
Is it a multi-band compressor basically?
have a
Because you have the Pro MB, which is the multi-band, which is basically a reactive EQ, and that the Q3 can also do stuff like that.
But the Q3, it's inside the volume knob, and you can actually like notch it down and push the threshold.
Admit, mate, I'm stuck on 2, not 3.
Yeah.
I guess I got upgrade, huh?
Honestly, 3 is worth it.
Okay.
Yeah. But you said you could do that on Ableton stock?
Yeah.
On the EQ8? Is it called EQ8?
There are a lot of ways. I mean, it's basically transient shaping, right? Like an automation of a certain frequency range, which you can draw in if you want. You can automate it. There's a lot of ways to do that. A de-esser is a multiband compressor at the sibilance area. And of course Ableton has a de-esser.
That's true.
So when did you start with music in general? What did it? Was it all electronic at the foundation? Was there any instrumental work or anything like that?
So I actually have a pretty interesting story on that end. This is like complete night and day from like our pop dance music thing, but I was really big into like metal and like heavy music. I was the dude screaming at people and joined a post-hardcore band back in, dude, this was like a while ago. So I was the front man for Brought by Giants, and just as we put out like our EP, it was like a 5 or 6 track EP. We were about to play the main stage at Expo 5 in Louisville, which is like one of the biggest venues at the time. And I was in a tight spot. I ended up moving away to just, get my life together and everything else. And right then and there is pretty much like when the band was either about to take off or fall apart. And I kind of was the deciding factor in that. Yeah. But I was always in the studio and I'd watch the sound engineers work on their stuff, and I was like, I never cared to really learn about it up until recently. And then I started to like learn about dance music. I wanted to be a part of it. The DAW I started out in is Reaple.
Oh, Reaper, that's a great one. It's
like
cost effective. Yeah, that's cheap. That's good.
Yep. So
It sounds like something a hardcore rock band guy would start out
I
on.
know a lot of rock guys that are about their Reaper. Like, rock guys love their Reaper, no matter what it is.
I eat babies.
So after a few years, I was like, you know what, I want to get serious about dance music. I got the trial version of Ableton, fell in love with it.
You fell in love with trial version?
Okay, maybe I cracked it. Maybe I played around with
never
with
been
the
enough
version.
for me.
I'm calling the police.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm calling your mother.
Right. Well, she doesn't care.
She left me as a baby.
She said, follow your dreams.
Chase your dreams.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what year-ish and how old-ish were you at that sort of threshold point for your band?
Oh, for the band? Ooh, that was really showing my age here. That was like 2013 or 2014.
Okay, nice.
When we were really going around.
Cool. 2013, about 9 years ago.
Dude, yeah.
10 years ago.
10 years ago, yeah.
So, did you ever do any live gigs? Did you perform in front of a whole bunch of people?
That's what I was saying. Right before our biggest show, we were about to play at Expo. We had gained so much traction in the Louisville area that all the local promoters wanted us on shows. We had just gotten the biggest thing, which was a main stage slot at Expo 5. We were opening for one of the big metal bands. I don't even remember. But, like I said, I was set up to play that show. I was in a tight spot, and I just decided to go take care of my business. I moved out to Vegas. I was dating a girl at the time. I worked at a casino and
Vegas. Whoa,
not
that's
gonna lie,
cool, man.
I flopped on the dream as a musician. Like we were just about to take off, and then I chose a different route.
You're still here.
Yeah.
You
feel like
didn't flop on the dream. Not at all. It just changed. The dream changed.
Journey, I think, for me to do this. I think that being even an artist or a creative, like there isn't even kind of a set ending of where you want things to be, because things can change so randomly. Like at least as far as I know, like my as far as my journey has taken me, I'll meet people that all of a sudden are now prevalent forces in my life, and I'll be like, okay, this is something that I see is actually speaking to me and reacting really well. I should be allowing this energy to come in, because these are people that are vibing with what I'm doing. So let me see how we can work together. Your life can change just based off of like a call, and be like, you know what, let me try this out. Let's see where this path can take me for now.
Which is how tonight was for me.
Yeah.
I got a call from you guys, and you want to be part of a podcast? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Because podcasting's awesome. It's the name of the game here in 2023.
And honestly, I don't think anything would have been the same if you weren't here. Cause
I just bring up equipment, guys.
The lighting would have been different. You know, your info has definitely been appreciated. So
thank you, sir.
But yeah, I was kind of mentioning how, like, being an artist, your journey is really evolving as every day. You know, and every day, like, what kind of pulls you towards something, and how you can either add value to it, learn from it, and maybe add it to your own toolbox. And so, like, I'm really interested in getting to know you guys and what your journeys have been, and what
musically,
musically, and kind of I guess as a people as well. But like, what's gotten you to the point where you are?
So usually, when people ask me that question, I hit them with a Harry Potter reference, which is the wand chooses it. You know, so
which one are you? Which house are you? Raven.
I'm the tough one between Gryffindor and Slytherin, you know. It's like the hat's up there, like, where are you at, you know?
Oh, you don't know.
I feel like Gryffindor, but all my friends think I'm Slytherin. I don't know what that means. Right. So, yeah. But, ever since I was a small child, I was fundamentally a vocalist and a percussionist. Banging on pots and pans, beatboxing, singing along to stuff. I always had an inherent sense of pitch. And, you know, I came from a family where all my aunts and uncles were just good singers. It's kind of weird if you're not a baseline good singer in my family. It's just kind of in there. So there's certainly a genetic component. Yeah, I started singing and drumming.
With like a coach?
No, actually. No, I was completely self-taught the entire way. It's ironic because now I'm in a teaching position for so many of these things.
I think actually maybe that makes sense, because you learned a process that was very different from everyone else's.
Very personal and very find your own way sort of mentality, which is something I want to instill in my students. You know, be like, here's the way I do it. Here's a way to do it, but you got to find your own way. You know?
Yeah, and I think that's what you kind of want to teach everybody else who's getting into music, is that there isn't one particular way of doing it. And
this is art. There shouldn't be rules.
That's the beauty of it,
right?
Yeah.
You know?
And it's like I've even tried music theory classes in college and world music, and
I would say I did take a music theory college.
How dare you!
But that's later on. That was after I was already pretty damn good at the shit. You know what I mean? On an inherent sort of visceral level. You know, I very much understood it. That just taught me the orthography, the written component of it, which I still don't love. You know, if I really want to compose a big piece, I might still do it all in MIDI and then give it to my boy Zach, who's just an amazing on paper type. You know, he'll just hear a melody and be like, "Oh, let me just write that."
Oh, interesting.
I'm not that kind of way. So I would usually, for that kind of work, if I need to hire like session musicians or something like that, I would work with someone who comes from that side of music theory, the written component. You know.
I kind of do a lot of my stuff based off feeling. And to be honest, if I even take like 2 days off, 3 days off, I feel like the connection between my mind and my DAW is weakened. And it's like harder for me to completely execute the thoughts, or even just get into more of a flow state, which I think a lot of the best ideas come from being in this place of surrender, of just like letting ideas coming to you and just experimenting with like little beeps and boops and random parts of samples and sounds and rhythms, and accidentally kind of falling into a vibe.
Just like enjoying yourself when you're doing it.
There's a famous cellist, his name's escaping me, but he said, if I don't practice for a day, I notice. If I don't practice for 3 days, my wife notices.
Yeah.
And if I don't practice for a week, the world notices. So, you know, it's very important to be attached and regular with your instrument. cool.
Yeah, which it's kind of interesting because I also think throughout the years we kind of find different ways to approach making music, and throughout our journey, will like there'll be times where we sit there and we'll have 8 to 12 hour sessions, even sometimes even longer, and we're just still locked in, and we're like, oh, I gotta keep this vibe going because I don't know
That's
when
the
I'll
passion.
get it again.
That's the passion.
And then you might do that for like 3 or 4 or 5 days and get burned out at a certain point where you're like, oh, like how am I improving? Is this actually is my sound improving? Like I feel like, to me, I always need to kind of have this like back where I create a whole bunch of ideas, and I need people to kind of I just need to see if they'll turn their head or give me a smile or a nod or a foot thing. Like, are you vibing with this? Like, people vibe with music in such different ways.
Yeah, like opinions on music on the individual level, like almost don't even matter. It's the strange thing when something I say a lot is the artist's favorite track on their project is almost never the audience's favorite. Almost never.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
That is absolutely
so your
true.
own opinion of your own music almost doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
Is something I've found. And I get hatefully bored making music by myself. Because for me, music is a language, it's a dialogue.
Yeah.
It's a back and forth. It requires reinforcement and
We got a
different
special guest.
opinions.
Yeah,
Hey.
you got the kitty.
Who's this?
She always has great advice. Whenever you ask her, she always has the right thing to say.
What's her name?
Her name is Katniss.
Oh, Katniss. Ah, nice. Nice.
She'll come hang out with us for a little bit.
Nice.